Hello everybody and a very good morning. Welcome to Crafters TV. My name is Ben Moseby and welcome to Thursday, 4th day of our January news event. And look who's back. We chatted before the show, didn't we? We almost had to reintroduce ourselves to each other.
It was like, who are you again?
What's your name?
Who are you? It is absolutely months, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just with schedules, no other reason, but months since we've actually worked together.
We think it's September.
I kept checking that you still worked here.
Yeah.
End of September, early October, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Must have been the last time we were together.
Yeah, certainly before the birthday event.
It was, yes.
But it's nice to see you.
It is, of course.
Yeah.
We had a quick Happy New Year, even though it's the 26th of January, didn't we?
I know. I know. How can you say Happy New Year on the 26th of January?
It's the first time I've seen producer Johnny as well since Christmas. So
is it actually?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was Happy New Year's all the way around this morning.
Well, it's nice to have you back, and yes, it's nice to have another. We've got a full day with Jan today, and a really great day lined up for you as well. Just quickly take you through it all, and then we'll get cracking. Of course, your wake-up call right now, bringing you all of the kind of goodies that we've got coming up right throughout the day today. So it's a great chance to get in early. I know a lot of you now are used to sort of getting up early, getting those deals before everybody else, because it has been so busy the last few weeks, and then you can sit back and enjoy all the shows a little bit later on. But at 2 o'clock this afternoon, we have got our brand new launch, with it being the January news, plural new items. Each and every day we've got a launch. Today we're launching those amazing mindfulness quote stamps, some really gorgeous stamps for you to get your hands on at a really gorgeous price today as well. And of course, as we've been doing each and every day this week, we have got a Showstopper deal for you too, so make sure you look out for that. We expect that to sell out again. The Showstoppers this week have been selling out right across the board, so we expect another sellout today. That's coming up during our official launch at 2, and then later on this evening from 6 we have got a craft vault. The craft vault is all to do with Spectrum Noir goodies, and actually if you are someone perhaps who needs to top up a particular collection, maybe you're someone who's quite new to our Spectrum Noir pens and pencils and you're looking for kind of, you know, little collections where you can dip your toe in the water, we've certainly got some great deals for you on craft vault tonight, and we thought we'd change it just a little bit. It's going to be super speedy, loads of great quick deals, but also we thought it'd be a great opportunity, seeing as Jan's here, to do a few little techniques, and also if you've got any questions later on as well, we'll do some super speedy questions, super speedy deals, and do the craft vault that way. So lots to look forward to today. As always, we're live and interactive. We've got Radical Rachel on the socials this morning, so any comments and questions, do feel free to fire those our way. But we're going to be concentrating on the wake-up call, mainly on that launch jam, which I know you've had the joy of playing with. It's a lovely collection of stamps, isn't it?
It is, and you know, if any of you guys that know me now, or that have got to know me, know that stamping's still it's where I started out my crafting journey, and I still love a good stamp. So when these came along, it's been great. And the thing that I like about them is that A, they're a sentiment, and we tend to use sentiments on most of our projects, and B, they are big enough to actually be the focal point on your card. So we've got some really, really nice sayings. So we've got good things take time. This is just a few of the examples for you. I'm going to show you more. We've got more as we go through. So good things take time. We've got, I love this one, giggle more, worry less. Yes. That definitely applies, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. And then if I pop those two down, we've got dream more, work harder on this one.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, just a pop up there. And then I like this one. I think this is lovely. Make today amazing.
Oh, we always try to, don't we?
Make today amazing. So why not? You know, all the different styles of cards. It could be on the front of a notebook. It could be on a scrapbook page. You know, they'll intersperse with lots of things that you've already got in your stash, whether they're ink backgrounds, stencil backgrounds, all those pretty papers that we all hoard. So they're great for mixing and matching with things that you already have in your stash. I'm going to show you lots of different ways to stamp. So we're going to be stamping with the inks. We're going to do some heat embossing, that kind of thing. We're going to do some work on some vellum later. So yeah, absolutely looking forward to it, Ben.
Do you know what? If there's anyone who's going to show these stamps off to their best, I think it's Jan. So it's a great day to have Jan in, looking all around these. And worth bearing in mind as well, if you are going to the website, we've got a great deal running to date as well, where we've got a buy one get one free deal on select Spectrum Noir single pens as well. So like I said, it's a great way for you to maybe add an extra pen to a collection. Maybe you've got a few pens running out, so good chance to have a bit of a rummage through the website and pick up those deals. But let's have a look at this brand new launch. It is these amazing mindfulness quote stamps, and here they are for you. And what you're going to love about this, actually, not only are the quotes absolutely stunning, but you're going to love the price today as well. £19.15 if you're platinum, or £28.56, and that is for the Showstopper as well. Brand new Showstopper deal. As we've been doing all this week, we've been bringing you the brand new launches. So if you want to get the quote stamps on their own, you can do, but the value for money is in the Showstopper because we bring you added extras. And like we were discussing yesterday with Sarah, it's nice to add extras into a bundle, but it's no good if we're just like randomly chucking stuff in that doesn't work with the particular bundle. We're not doing that. We're giving you all of the brand new goodies and then popping in extra items that are going to work perfectly. So this is the mindfulness quotes collection. I'll show you them all on boards in just a second, but you get all 6 of them. Plus, you're going to get 1 of our ink pads, and then the Showstopper deal. On top of that, we're giving you 2 more ink pads for free. So you're getting 25% off with an ink pad included, and then 2 more of our quick dry ink pads included for free with it in the Showstopper. It's a brilliant deal. And by the way, already 8 minutes into the show, 20% of the Showstopper has already gone, in the words of producer Johnny, man. $19.15 is your platinum price, or $28.56. Go swiftly on this. It's a lovely, lovely collection. I'll do a few of those in just a second, but I just want you to quickly see all of the sentiments that you're going to be getting in this set. They're a lot of fun, very positive and uplifting, I think, these quotes. So let's have a quick look at the quotes that you're going to be getting. Real kind of Showstopper stamps as well, that are going to be the forefront of your projects. Like Jan says, beautiful for your cards, home decor pieces. Love the idea of, decorating fronts of notebooks and things like that. But you've got 6 included in here. So you've got breathe in, breathe out.
I think that's a really good one, isn't it? We forget that sometimes, don't we?
Forget to breathe.
Yeah, to just take a minute.
I feel better now.
Yeah.
Think happy thoughts.
Always.
It's the law of attraction, isn't it?
Yeah, always. Think happy thoughts.
That's it. Hopefully you're always thinking happy thoughts when you're watching us. Dream more. Work harder. Then next, sorry, they're all falling off now. Good things take time. Next up, this is my fave. I think this is our fave.
I like this one.
Giggle more, worry less.
Yep.
I think that, if you can have a bit of a laugh about things, not take yourself too seriously.
I always say all my lines are all giggle lines, they are.
That's it.
Yeah, all my lines around here that I'm getting, they're just laughter lines.
What lines, Jan? What lines? I can't see any lines.
That's because you're like a few feet across the studio.
Who said that? Giggle more, worry less.
Yeah.
And then lastly in this set, you have make today amazing.
Yep.
So they're all wonderful. I love all the different fonts that you've got there as well, but the quotes more than anything, I think, very inspirational and aspirational, and it's a lovely, lovely set. 20% of the stock's already gone. We'll say a few of those, and we will certainly encourage you to get any questions, any comments that you want in as well. Hello already to Judy, who's in saying good morning. Hi to Christine Mahoney. Hi. Michelle Parsons is in. Hello. Lynn, the hashtag Go Live Granny, saying good morning. I'm ready for another super fun-filled morning. That's a hashtag, Go Live Granny, yeah. Michelle Harris says good morning. Sarah Brown says hello and good day, my crafty friends. Huge hello to Jen and Ben.
Sarah.
Yeah.
When I was driving up on the radio, I'm sure they said it was Australia Day.
It's Australia Day today.
So hi, yeah, our Sarah's in Australia, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a happy Australia Day to you guys out there.
It's almost finished, isn't it?
That's it. Of course, yeah, because they're...
Yeah. Did you have a good day? And what did you do on Australia Day to celebrate? Let us know. You're saying good day to all the gang behind the scenes and social. Johnny wants to know whether you put another shrimp on the barbie, mate. Or does Craig always go when we do Australia? What does he say? You flaming galah. Shadiah says, good morning, Lord Ben and Nana Jan. First live show for the week, early morning. Ooh, what a night last night. Wasn't it? The cartload show. Really, a cartload. Knocked me out for 6 hours of sleep. What a show. Kate McQueen says, good morning from a very cold Manchester. I already bought today's Showstopper deal so I could enjoy the show. Sandra's in from just up the road saying, good morning, Ben, Jan, crew, social media superstar, crafty family and friends. I ordered the stamps yesterday with my order, just ready to watch a master at work. Oh, you're not talking about me. Zoe says, good morning from West Sussex. And hi to Christine Mahoney says, one of my faves in the collection is Giggle More, Worry Less.
Yeah.
I giggle a lot, as we all do here at Crafters TV. Let's get started and get going. Any questions you've got, fire them in. Any comments. Let us know what you're shopping for today as well. What's already gone in your basket? Is there something on the website that we might have missed? We want to know about it. Someone is giggling out there. I don't know who it is. They're obviously giggling more and worrying less. Let's get started, Jan. What are you going to show us?
Let's get started. Right, so we're going to start off with think happy thoughts. I think that's a good sentiment to set the day, isn't it? So think happy thoughts there. So I've actually got my piece of cardstock ready, and I'm going to start with the inks. Now, I was here last week with all the different types of inks when we looked at Spectrum Noir. So I know some of you may have purchased the inks or already have them.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to use these to add an element to the background. And then I want my stamp to be that focal point. So we're going to go in with the 3 shades of the yellow ink. And these are my Harmony Water Reactive inks because I want a nice bold colour. And then we're going to stamp in black straight over the top of it, the jet black. So just to do a little bit of inking first, I've got my applicators at the ready. And what I want to do, instead of do a complete ink background, which you could do if you wanted to, I'm actually going to do like a strip of inking down the cardstock. Okay, so what I've done is I've just taken some of my little sticky notes and I've used, I have a pair of decal edge scissors at home. I know a lot of us collect those fancy edge scissors. It can be anything, and if you don't have them, you can just tear it.
Yeah.
I didn't want a set straight edge. I wanted something a little bit more sort of forgiving, more or less. Now, the biggest job now I've got to get these apart, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off some of the area and then just apply the ink in between. So what I want to do, my card's going to be just slightly bigger than 5 by 7 if I remember rightly. And I'm literally going to use the grid lines on my glass mat there, and I'm going to start to mask off probably about just over 1/2 inch there. Put the sticky side down, Jan, it works better. Okay, right, hang on, let's do that again. Here we go. So yeah, just using that guideline there. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to create an area on this left-hand side that is actually masked out of the way. So again, I'm going to bring it from the bottom because my piece of sticky note wasn't long enough, and just overlap slightly there. Yep, and then I'm going to bring these about 1.5 inches. I'm going to leave a gap.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do the same down this side. Okay, so I'm just using the grid as a guideline to get it reasonably straight.
I see.
So what I've done now is I've created an area where we can put the ink, and then the pieces underneath are protected. So I want to get like an ombre effect going. So I'm going to start off with the lightest, which is straw bale, and these are water reactive. You could do this technique with your opaque inks if you wished. I just wanted a slightly stronger colour. And the water reactives provide that. It's the same colour family, but the nature of the ink. We did a lot of work on this last week, Ben, where we looked at the inks and what they did and what the differences were. So yeah, I've got the lightest one at the top, which is a real nice sort of creamy yellow. And then we're going to go, and I'm just going to swap my little applicator pad there and pop this one on. And then we're going to bring in the middle one, which is lemon tonic. So again, load up that applicator, take off any excess so that you don't just get a big circle of ink, and then start coming in with that next one. And we're just going to join it together. Don't worry about where the join is. We'll come back and sort that out when we've done the actual coverage. Okay. Make sure we've got a nice layer of ink down. And then I'm going to bring in the deepest one, which is Honey Pot. Okay. And again, I'm going to carry on working the way down off there from the edges. Make sure I'm not lifting those sticky notes because we want those to create that outline, and then get that one down as well. Okay. So once we're happy with that, I tend to go back down my colours then. So go back to the lemon tonic, and I've got these half and half. I've got darker on one side and lighter on the other, just to save myself a change of applicator. So with the lemon tonic, I'm just going to go over where I've joined it with the honey pot, and then I'm going to go back to that lightest shade, and where those two match there, just blend so that you've got a nice area of colour. Okay, so that's the colour down. And then because these are water reactive, we're going to actually add a little bit of water.
Yeah.
So I've got some water in my spritzer bottle, just tap water. And I'm just going to grab my little brush. Here we go. And we're just going to add some little spots of water because the water reactive ink works so well. I'm literally just going to...
Well, that's a splayed brush you've got there.
It's a little fan brush. It's fondly known as a splatter brush.
A what brush?
A splatter brush.
A splatter brush?
For splattering, yeah. It is actually an artist brush. It's a paint brush for watercolour and things like that, which, but I just use it for it gives a great little splatter. Okay.
It's like a mini chimney sweep would have that.
So once we've done that, we'll get rid of that excess. Now, you've seen me do these before. We actually spent some time making backgrounds last week. It was nice to actually have the time. And you've heard me say before that the longer you leave the splatters, the better the effect. All right, so we're going to just blot them. Take up any excess water. Okay. And we've got that nice sort of background. And then when we remove the sticky notes, you've got that beautiful contrast there between. Okay.
Yes.
Now you can do that as a separate layer, you know, and sort of layer it up. But I like it all flat on that one there. It makes these cards extremely flat from the point of view if you've got to post something.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do then is we're going to bring in our stamping platform and secure this on the platform. Okay.
We did have well, I know we can't mention it, can we? Not allowed to mention it, not allowed to talk about it. Shush, Johnny. Cartload yesterday, might have had a good deal on this. If you know, you know.
So that one, it's just about dry. I was just going to say, make sure it's sort of air dry. You don't want to be stamping into the water, but that one feels okay there. And then we're going to take our stamps. So we've got a set of clear acrylic stamps. The sizes are on the bottom of the packets there, respectively. So this one's just under 3 inches by just over 3.5 inches tall. So again, nice size. So don't think, when you look, look at this, don't think this is the actual size. When I actually bring them out, look, it's a really good size. That's in the palm of my hand there. And it's a really good size from the point of view of being a focal point. You've got a mix and match font in there. So we've got some of the sort of script fonts and then that lovely block lettering in the middle. I like that. I like sentiments that mix the fonts. So take that one off. I'm going to decide whereabouts I want it. And this is the beauty of being able to work with the stamping platform. So just decide whereabouts you want that to go. So I'm going to go sort of not quite central. I'm just going to go slightly higher than central, and we're going to go part into the yellow and part onto the white there. Okay. And then when we're happy with it, pick that one up, and then I've actually got my quick dry. Okay, does what it says on the tin. As I say, if you're not sure about the inks, I was here, I think it was Friday last week. Yeah. Which I'm not sure what date that would have been. And we did a whole show on the ink pads. 20th.
Cynthia just says she learned so much on that show last week. Made the chart, Jan, showed for reference. Thank you, Cynthia.
Yeah, I was busy doing me, what were they? The line diagrams again, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For people to just copy screenshot, because looking at where everything fits under that Spectrum Noir heading, it can be a bit of a minefield, especially if you're new to the, to the show or to the company. So yeah, we did the little drawing and left it for screenshotted so that people had got a reference point as to where all the inks fit in. Yeah. So yeah, that was last Friday. So if if you've got any queries about the stamping side of it and the inks, have a look back at that show. But I've actually inked this up now, and then I'm going to go over the top of it. So my top tip with stamping, if I could say one thing to you today, it would be stand up. All right, stand up while you're stamping, because you can get a much more sort of weight over the top of the stamp than you can when you sat down. And I nearly always stamp twice, even though we've got a really nice coverage there. I nearly always stamp twice. Not that I've missed any, I just want to build up that depth. Yes. And especially with going over a colour, you know, where there's going over the yellow. I just want to build up that depth of the black ink. And you can do it as many times as you want if you've got this particular platform, because you can be assured now that when this goes back in here, it's going to go straight in the same place, which is why this is my number one piece of equipment now.
Yeah.
I use it for absolutely everything, including even if it's just a little tiny sentiment.
Yeah.
Purely because it gives you that insurance that you can do it a second time, whether it's to correct it or whether it's just to intensify it. If you look now, we've built up that black, it's quite striking. That's going to be the bulk of the design. Now, when I looked at this at home, then I thought it's missing something. Because what we're going to do is we're going to bring, if you look at this now, okay, and look at my card, it's sort of getting a little bit lost there. The black ink in there lends itself to having that black matte layer.
Oh, yes. And
don't be afraid to use the black, because I think that just makes a world of difference. But it still seemed to be missing a little bit. So out came the fine liner pen.
Okay.
And just before I pop it together, what I'm going to do, and you've seen me do this before again, there's no way that I can draw a straight line down here, so I'm not even going to try. What I'm actually going to do is draw a wavy line.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Now, it is better to make sure that what's underneath is totally dry. I think this is not quite, so there are areas of it, but we're okay. And all I do is just cross over the lines. So where I've gone down, I go over the top, turn it round, and then I tend to sort of just add a little bit of, as if it's been sort of stitched across it.
Cross hatching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little zigzag, really easy, but again, it sort of focuses it all there. And then we're going to stick it together, okay? So I'm just going to use my double-sided tape pen there.
Yep.
If you wanted to use glue, because we're just working with the cardstock, if you want a wet glue, I'd be recommending our all-purpose, which I do tend to use at home. I am a wet glue person. I don't know why. I just find that I get a really nice finish with it. But obviously, when we're working live on air, I'm going to get an instant stick, and the adhesive in the pens is as strong as what you would get with a wet glue anyway. So that one's going to mat onto that black piece, just to frame it and sort of link the black together, and yet the yellow does its job. And then again, you could pop some foam in here if you wanted to lift this layer, but I particularly designed this flat, because I know sometimes when we're posting things, you don't want all that sort of extra depth on them. It just creates sort of a situation where it costs you more money to post them, and then there's more chance of them getting damaged as well in the mail. So my husband used to work for the Royal Mail.
Oh, yeah, I remember you saying.
Yeah, and he says, you know, he says it was sacrilege, the number of things that came through the mail that had got damaged in the machinery, where there'd maybe been some kind of embellishment or too thick, you know. He says it was just heartbreaking. And then all I've done is I've got a couple of little gems, and then I thought, right, it just needs a bit of something. So in the old dies, and these are the little tiny outline dies, I've just picked up the little dragonfly there. You could put anything there. It could be a butterfly. It could be, we were using buttons last week. It's more of a masculine design. Could be flowers. Absolutely anything there. So I'm just going to pop a little tiny bit of wet glue on here. You could use your dotty tape pen if you wish. Just get that, and we don't need a lot there. This is my tacky glue, so we're just going to pop a little bit of that on the wings.
Is that dragonfly from the little mini sentiments, or is
yes?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yes, it is. The little the outline. I think they're the outline sentiments.
Yeah.
No, not sentiments.
The mini
outline dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not the ones that came out with the mini. They were actually a set of their own. I'm sure they were called.
Did they come with some flowers as well?
There were flowers, there was butterflies, there were dragonflies.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am just fiddling in here to try and find my good old... Those will do. I just wanted my tweezers, which I hadn't got out. Yeah, there was some foliage sprigs.
Yeah.
Set of flowers, dragonflies, butterflies, and there was something else in there as well. 3 different sizes. So again, I'm just going to pop him on the bottom there. And then I couldn't decide. I was playing around with whether to have these at the top, like so, which is normally where I would put them to offset the dragonfly, so to have them here.
Yeah.
Yeah, oops.
Oh, hello.
Stuck to me. Oh, stop it. But the alternative was I quite liked them on the on the thread. Now, producer Johnny's absolutely stunned in my ear.
Well, 3 is the number,
He's like,
isn't
Jan,
it?
you've only got 2.
Yeah.
You've only got 2.
Wait, 3's the number.
So 3's the number. So we've got 1, 2, and then the embellishment's the 3rd. So you've got your things happening in 3s. So it doesn't have to be 3 sets of... Plus, I'm a bit stingy with my gems. I like them to go a long way, so quite like them on there,
Works
I
best
think.
on the line.
Yeah, as
where
part
it is.
of that, part of the design there. So we'll just pop a couple of little bits of...
So you can go 1, 2, embellishment 3.
Absolutely. Why not? Who says you've got to have 3 embellishments?
I don't. Well, that's just what I've got stuck in my head. 3 embellishments. But I like that. 1, 2, dragonfly 3.
3 are pleasing to the eye.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of, it is a thing in crafting that work in sets of 3, but it doesn't have to be 3 of the same thing. You know, so we've got our 2 little gems there, and the dragonfly's my 3rd. So we've got a set of 3 embellishments to complement that stamp. So if I turn you that one round now, really, really simple. Letting that stamp do the hard work. That's just stamped with our quick dry ink. We're going to look at different ways of the stamping throughout the course of the show at 2 o'clock. So we're going to introduce some heat embossing and things like that, some resist stamping. So yeah, just love it. And that's totally flat. The only slightly little bit that's raised was the gems that I popped on there. So yeah, that would go in an envelope and go in the mail quite easily.
Very simple, but very effective, is what a lot of you are saying. It was the Gemini Elements Dainty Dragonfly is the dragonfly. That was our Rachel, Radical Rachel. That's why she's here.
I usually bring them with me, and I haven't put it in. I normally bring it so that I can show you what I've used, but I've not put it in. So.
Such a simple card, but so effective, says Michelle. Loving the card, says Lynette Price. Gorgeous. What a difference the black matte makes, says Lynn. Absolutely. And again, Leanne was talking about that a lot, wasn't she, earlier in the week. Lots of chat about the stamping platform too. Christine Mahoney saying how great it is, and saying, oh, and if you have arthritis or whatever in your hands, you can take an eraser over the top of that stamping platform for an even distribution instead of your hands/fingers. Bought the sentiment stamps to make for fundraising, says Lynn. Cynthia says, I've learned so much about my inks on the show last week. Suzanne Dawn says, my favourite, a Jan Day. I fall down. Do you know what I was thinking earlier on? You know, we're doing a lot of like events at the minute. I was thinking like next year, right? What we could do is we'll get Jan in every day of this month, and we'll call it Jan. You Well, you in for that 31 days?
Just move up here for a month, shall I?
Yeah, just move up. 31 days of Jan.
My goodness.
Let us know.
You don't be putting ideas in their head, Ben Moseby.
They probably will, won't they?
I wouldn't have to work for the rest of the year, would I? Just do it all in January.
in 1 month.
Have the rest of the year off.
You're welcome. Coming in 2024, Jan.
I love it.
You weary.
Might be a bit boring.
No, it wouldn't. Sarah Brown says, Johnny, you make me laugh. I'm laughing so much now. I actually didn't throw a shrimp on the Barbie. What did you do, Sarah? What did you do for Australia Day? How do you celebrate? We want to know, because we have no idea. Or is it just like, St George's Day, where here in England we celebrate St Patrick's Day more than we celebrate our own national day, don't we? We get excited about St Patrick's Day, but we don't do out, do we, on St George's Day? But most English people don't even know when it is. You're correct, Johnny.
I do, yeah.
Jan and Ben, I really didn't do anything today, but thanks for mentioning me, says Sarah, and I'm giggling more now. It's now nearly 10:30. You guys are the best. And Terry says, having the two gems leads my eyes to the dragonfly. So yes, very, very clever indeed. Let me just show you again the sentiments that you're going to get from the Mindfulness quote stamp set. 6 in total, and approaching a quarter of the Showstopper has gone. So here are the 6. Breathe in. Breathe out. Think happy thoughts, which is gorgeous. The one you've just seen works really well, doesn't it? Having the same font on the top and the bottom, and the block capitals within the centre there. Love that one. You've then got dream more, work harder. Good things take time. Giggle more, worry less. That is our mantra here at Crafters TV. And then lastly is this one here. Love that again, the different fonts that you've got on that. Make today amazing. All of the 6 stamps you're going to get, as you can see, really nicely sized. You get those, plus you're going to get one of our ink pads here. So these are all the quick dry. So you've got the pale fig. I said that with such authority, didn't I?
Pigs took on You have lilac.
Yeah. And then you're also going to get your lagoon, and you're going to get the parakeet in there as well. Those two you get for free within the bundle when you go for the Showstopper. 25% almost of the stock gone. Michelle Parsons says, I love the idea of January.
Oh, don't, honestly, what are you like?
Oh. Sorry. Right, very, very quick. How many hours would that be?
I was just saying how many hours. I said I wouldn't have to work for the rest of the year, would I?
No, it'd be 186 hours, wouldn't it? Would that be right? 30? Yeah, it would be right. 31 times 6, 186, isn't it?
If I just did Monday to Friday.
Oh no, you'd have to do it all.
I've got to do it all.
You only Saturday, Sunday as well. Yeah. No, it's January.
It's trying to kill me off, isn't it?
You're either all in or you're not doing it.
And I thought you were pleased to see me today.
No, I am. That's why I want you back in every day next year. Every day in January, you're welcome.
So then in February, we'll have to do Benuary.
February.
Benuary.
Movember. I'll come in every day then. And then they're trying to do them all now. Johnny's just gone, December. Saratember.
Oh my days.
I'll not say what he's just said in my ear. He likes the idea of January, but not so much other people for the whole month in a row. Very quickly, I've got to whiz through these. These are coming up for you later on our Craft Vault show for you. Now, for those of you that saw the Cartload show last night, you'd be like, hang on a minute, what? Yes, we are keeping the price, honouring the price for the Craft Vault show this evening. The colour blend pencils in the primary, all 24. We had the platinum tenner deals last night. We have honoured that price and kept that price again for this show. What an opportunity to pick these up. If you've never tried our colour blend pencils before, and maybe it is because, you know, you weren't so sure, you didn't want to stretch to the $24.99, you've got them today at a try-me price of a tenner if you're platinum, $12.50 if you're just picking these up and you're not yet in the club. That is a huge deal. We sold these by the bucket load last night. Hundreds of you picked them up. It's a great opportunity, and we'll chat more about those a little bit later. But £10, $10, go swiftly on those. We've then also got the pencils that I really don't see that often. We see the colour blends quite a fair deal, but the aqua blend pencils, by the way, look at the price here. $9.99 or $11.99 for the Aqua Blend. That is a 50% saving, less another 20 if you're platinum. Again, artist quality watercolour pencils these are, aren't they? We just don't see them that often for some reason.
I just think it's sort of something that tends to get forgotten about.
Yeah.
We use our watercolour markers
all the time.
But the pencils, you know, the beauty of these, you know, that sheet that you've got there, Ben, that's been done as a colour chart, has probably been done for months and months and months on end. It's probably been in our boxes in the sample library, in and out for the shows. But if I took a wet brush now to that ink, I could reactivate it to use and paint with. And I just think the quality of them is outstanding.
You're getting these for $9.99 or $11.99. For the quality of the pencils that you get here, that is, again, I said it yesterday, it's almost an insult, really. But snap those up. These are the Craft Vault deals that we've got coming up for you later on in our Spectrum Noir special. Those are flying out the door. I think a lot of people have picked those up. It's that kind of price where, again, like if you've not tried the aquablend pencils, you can do it now for a £10. If you've not tried the colour blend, and the fact that we've done it on the primaries as well, so I think, you know, the colours that you're going to be using more, you'll be turning to more.
If you hadn't got any, that would be the set that I always recommend as a starter set, the primary colours, because you've got those primaries, you can make the secondaries because they're a colour blend, you can blend them together. Same with the watercolours, you can mix the colours and make, you know, secondary colours. But that primary set is probably the one that I always recommend to start with. And then if you like them, there are other sets available,
And just again, I mean, talk about crazy prices. The metallic pencils for £5 or $5.98. Again, don't see these a lot, but how stunning and how effective, particularly these when you're using these in your darker colour cardstock. You're getting all 12 of those included. So light blue, green and purple, silver gold, rose gold, yellow pink, mica blue, violet and nickel. £5.19 or $5.98 for the set there. Again, it's half price, better than that if you're platinum. Do you know what? If you've used a lot of our pens and you've never really delved into the wonders of our pencils, you can pick up a lovely set of the colour blend. Basically, you get the colour blends, a set of the aqua blends and the metallics for about 25 quid today for all of them.
Which is what a tin would have normally cost of the colour blends.
For one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get all three and try them for just about what it would normally cost for one tin. And the metallics are great, you know, sort of like you think, oh, well, I don't use a lot of black card. If you stamp on black card with the sticky translucent ink and then add clear embossing powder, you make like a ghost image. And then you've got the actual line art to work with to then colour with the black pencils, and it looks stunning because normally when we stamp an image you can see the line art there, whether it's in black or whatever colour you've stamped in, but with this it sort of like fades away and you just get the beauty of the stamp detail, which can look really, really interesting.
£5.19, $5.98, and also something which you guys have latched onto, a half price deal on one of our advanced discovery kits. Look at the deal on this, £11.99 or $13.98. Now, these were kind of the next step on from the original Discovery kits. Advanced, this doesn't mean you have to be an advanced colorist to get them, far from that at all. They're just kind of like the next step on from the original Discovery kits. And what you get inside the box, I'll just quickly show you here. This is your Adventures in Colour. You get all of the instruction that you would need as well, and almost like a forward from Colouring Expert. This is with Cara Aldridge. But I see these as a great opportunity for you maybe to buy a gift for somebody. They're also great if you're wanting to get the kids and the grandkids into colouring too, but also it's a great way for you, I think, to dip your toe in the water when it comes to a selection of our Spectrum Noir pens. So within this set here, you've got a selection of our illustrators, a selection of our classics, and you also get an art liner included in there too. But then on top of that, is this a full set? Yes, it is, I think. You've got full instruction in here on how to get the very best out of all your pens, and you also get all of the images for you to colour in as well. So it's almost like a little mini masterclass, really, isn't it, in each and every one of these? But value for money again, to get your hands on, you know, hang on, it's more than that, isn't it? It's 8, isn't it? Yeah, it's 8 of our pens and an art liner. Again, it's a great way, Jan, isn't it, just to dip your toe in the water and just to have a practice and a play with a kit like this.
It is, because it is a commitment to buying a whole set of pens, whether that be our illustrators or whether you like the tri-blends. There's a lot there. This is a perfect way, like Ben says, to just try them out. It's like a try almost before you buy.
It is,
and then you're buying the set, but and then if you decide you want to extend on them, then you can start and add some of the other colour packs to extend your collection. But I just think the artwork in here is stunning. It makes great wall art.
Absolutely,
you know, when you've coloured them in, framed them, and actually make them into wall art, it's just fabulous.
Yeah, and everything there that you need as far as kind of your tuition is concerned with step-by-step tutorials, but you'll find these covered on YouTube, on our channel, of course, on YouTube as well. There's so much when it comes to shows and Colour Me Happies and all that kind of thing where you'll find more, but a real opportunity again today to pick this kit up for a half price deal, less than if you're platinum. You get your 11 markers and 9 printed sheets included too. £11.98, $13.98 if you are platinum. Right, so we're going to take a short little break now. Lots of you with unchecked baskets. Keep the comments coming through. Any more questions as well? I did see we had a few questions come through, so we'll tackle those when we come back. But in the meantime, head to the checkouts, get that brand new launch and snap up any of those deals from the Craft Vault later on. All Spectrum Noir based, and also just to reiterate, on the website right now, we've got buy one, get one free deals on selected single pens within the Spectrum Noir range. So have a good look, get your carts checked out, and we'll come back in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
The one that was really funny, Ben. You didn't.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I am a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that? Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
Here is the news. The January news. It's being reported that all this week on Crafters TV, there'll be new products launching each and every day. The January news. Early indications suggest there'll be something new for all crafters,
including confetti borders on Monday the 23rd with Leanne, textured embossing folders with Debbie Fisher on Tuesday the 24th, Sarah's signature love box on Wednesday the 25th with Sarah herself. Thursday the 26th we have quote stamps with Jan. And finally, Floribunda pads with Sarah on Friday the 27th.
When asked for a comment on all the new news, Sarah Davies said, it's gonna be off the chart, man, thebomb.com. For more up-to-the-minute information, check out the Crafters TV website and tune in to Crafters TV all week from Monday, the 23rd of January. That was the January news. Finally, some good news to look forward to.
Yay, says Zoe Carver. Yodel delivery. First time I bought any items at launch, learning that if I really want it, get it before it sells out. It's a good lesson learnt. Got the wood embossing folder, butterfly and bird confetti dies, and the Daisy 6x6. Adriana says, I've given these advanced discovery kits as gifts. That's not easy to say. and they are so loved and appreciated. Liz asked us to pick both of these kits up for my daughter's birthday in June. Julie Barlow's got the breathe in, breathe out stamp to use for my yoga friends. I like that.
Oh, that's perfect,
There's a lot of that in yoga, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can get them individually if you like. I like these stamps, would be great in white ink, says Val, on black card, like the chalkboard stamps that we did.
Do you know, she's reading my mind.
Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
Is that coming up?
Clear. Yeah, I've got my black card at the ready.
And a question, which we'll do, and then I'll update you on this, from Mary in Malta. It says, very sunny but very cold in Malta, very nice.
Oh, right.
Ben, can you ask Jan which ink pad to use on multi-purpose cardstock when doing stencils?
Ink on multi-purpose cardstock when doing stencils, I would go, to be honest, any of them would work for that. Any of them. My preference would probably be the water reactive because it moves around nice and easily. But the pigment ones would work. You'd just get that slightly lighter hue to the colour. You could probably even get away with the quick dry ones to do stencils because you're not wanting to move that ink very far. You're just literally wanting to push it through a stencil. But my first choice would be water reactive, either with a sponge applicator or with your little finger dauber, depending on how big your stencil is, yeah.
Marvellous. There you go, Mary. Sending our best wishes to Malta. Any more questions, fire them in. We are at already almost nearly 30% of the mindfulness quotes has gone. We're 45 minutes into the show and almost 30% of the stock has disappeared. Oh, you can see all of them here. We'll move swiftly on to another demo, but you're going to get all 6 of those amazing quotes, and the Showstopper brings you one ink pad included within the price, but then we give you the other two, the Laguna and the Parakeet, for free within that collection. So you're under £20 if you're platinum, just £19.15 or $28.56 if you're shopping in the US. If you don't want to go for them all, if there's just a few that kind of really sort of ring true to you, you can shop for these individually as well. But the best value for money is in that Showstopper, which is heading towards selling out before the end of the day again, which all the other Showstoppers have done so far this week. So don't hang about. The official launch of them, of course, is at 2 o'clock this afternoon, 9 a.m. Eastern, but I expect the stock to have dwindled further by then. Right, questions coming in, and I've seen yours, June, and we'll ask it in a minute, but we're going to go back to Jan. So are you doing a chalkboard stamp demo now?
We are.
Nice.
We're going to look at that sort of chalkboard effect. I love this. So this is our matte black card, all right? This is what I'm working with. You can stamp onto the Centura pearl, so if you've got a little bit of that sexy black Centura pearl hidden away, it would work on there as well. But I've just got the matte black for this one. I like it as like that, as you say, that chalkboard effect. And then we're going to do the Make Today Amazing. So similar kind of size. We're looking at, it's almost square, this one. It says 3.4 by 3.5. So around about 3.5 inches square. So again, as I say, don't be put off by thinking this is the size, because when I bring the stamp out, they are huge. As I say, if I just pop them in the palm of my hand, you can just see the contrast of the size there. So they are definitely a focal point with maybe a bit of embellishing. And I think that's what would make them nice for scrapbook pages as well. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to bring my stamping platform up. And just a little bit of preparation if you're heat embossing. Yeah. So for those of you that are new to the channel or that are new to crafters, there is a difference when we talk about embossing. So you can use an embossing folder in the machine to create like a dry emboss, which means that it will bring the raised pattern of the embossing folder into your cardstock, which you've then seen us demonstrate with things like gilding wax or running inks over the top of them, or just embossing into this coloured Centura pearls are beautiful. This is actually heat embossing, so there's almost like a little bit of alchemy involved in this. So my sort of toolkit for this is my little anti-static pad, which lives in the little, it was almost as if this was designed for it. It's so cute. All right, little tiny box. And all this is like a little pillow of chalky substance. You can see here where it's coming out of the bag. Now, if you don't have this, you can use talc, so like baby talc with a brush, or you could use something like cornstarch. It basically is a way of removing any kind of moisture from the card. So whether that be anything that may be on your card, it could be oil from your skin where you've handled the card, anything like that. You want to give it a really good rub over the top and make sure it's dry. And then once you've done that, try not to handle the card. That's why I pop it in here first, because if you're then going to pick it up and pop it into the stamping platform, you sort of like cancelled out the reason you've done it for, because you're going to get those fingerprints in the side again. So that lives in there, goes back in there. And then I've also got my sticky ink. So our watermark translucent ink is just a clear ink, and yours will be nice and clean if you buy one of these. I've got a little bit of discoloration, but it still works. It is basically a sticky, really sticky ink without the pigment in it. So this is the glue that then attracts the powder. So I've got some white embossing powder, fine detail embossing powder. Now, we don't actually sell our own brand of white embossing powder. I don't think I've come across a white one. We have got one or two oddments in some of the Sarah signature collections. This is actually a Creative Expressions product that we work in partnership with, so it's nice and easy to find. So what again I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my stamp straight down into the middle here. Trying not to mess too much with the card. I just want to make sure it's about central, because I've cut it down for my card anyway. And then once you're happy with it, now there isn't enough residue of the anti-static to affect the stamp. So just a word, I went straight in with the stamping last time, and I was going to mention this. When you get your stamps new, they come, all brand new stamps have like a coating on them. And this is probably a question that gets asked such a lot, so it's worth addressing. So it's there, it's part of the manufacturer process, and it's there as just like a little bit of a protection. So the very first time you use them, people will often say, I can't get the ink to work properly, it's pooling on the stamp, and it's resisting the coating that's on them. So 2 or 3 different ways of doing it. You can just take a baby wipe to it and give it a good old wipe off. It does come off, it's not fastened to the stamp. Some people use a really fine emery board and just give it a little, you know, not to roughen the surface, but just to dislodge it. My favourite way of doing it is actually to use your sticky ink first and then go in with your other ink over the top.
Okay.
Because the water-based, it doesn't affect the inks, but what this does is actually provide a medium for the other ink to work with, and then once you've done it and cleaned it, the next time that residue's gone. So you only ever need to do it right at the beginning, okay? Now on this occasion, I'm just going to use the sticky ink. I'm also going to use my white embossing powder, so I've got that at the ready, and I've got my heat tool at the ready down here. Okay, so we'll get that one out. So it's a case of just sort of setting up your stall, and then literally, let's get that one opened. Okay, I'm going to pop in with the ink now. Just make sure that you've got a nice coverage on it. If you're using the magnetic platform, don't forget that if you do miss a bit, you can go in and re-ink and do it a second time. So there's not so much emphasis there, but I always make sure that it's got a really good coating of that nice sticky ink. Now the reason we call it a watermark ink is because if you were to stamp this on the black and then leave it to dry, you would actually get a very faint sort of watermark effect. So you'd be able to read the sentiment, but it would be black on black. Okay? If you do it on sort of like a blue card, you'll get a slightly lighter area of blue. If you did it on a green card, etc., which is why we call it a watermark ink. But this is actually going to be the medium that attracts my white powder. Okay, so I'm making sure that it's had a good press all over to make contact with the card, get all the design. And you can see, if I tilt that there, look, you can see the image and it will dry like that, which is quite a good technique. But what we're actually going to do, and I've just got a piece of, I just keep a piece of copier paper handy because this particular one is just in my little pot. And then you're going to tip that white. Now don't worry about how much you're putting on there. You
Most of it goes back, doesn't it?
half the pot of that, but obviously we're going to tip it off. I'm just going to tap it lightly because anything that's not stuck to that image, literally, is waste. Okay? So you can see there's just a little bit at the top there that's come that I want to stick back in. Okay? And then this is spare now. So this all goes back in your pot there.
Yeah.
So you can see really, I've hardly used any. Okay, that goes back in there. I always put the lid on because once you get the heat tool out and it starts blowing around, the last thing you want is to start melting what's in the pot. So then we're going to pop those to one side, and I've got my image. I could probably have stamped a wee bit better across
along
the
the
top
top
there. You can just see where it's got a little bit, but I've got one that I've already done. So,
are we now going to address the elephant in the room?
The elephant.
What's in your right hand there?
Oh, of course.
No one knows. I don't think you told them, have you?
Well,
what happened?
Some of the customers know because I've been here for the last couple of weeks.
Johnny was devastated.
I had to have a conversation with Johnny this morning because I just knew he had to sit down. He had to sit down on the sofa.
He wanted to start the show with a minute's silence, Johnny did, because his favourite tool's gone, isn't it?
If you've been watching over the last couple of weeks while I've been here, I did mention this, that my poor little heat tool, it came to the end of its life over Christmas. Yes, I went in there and I sort of was heat embossing and it just that was it, done. And I'm like, right, after 15, 16 years, it probably deserves a break. So yes, the little purple tool that our Johnny loves is no longer, it's gone. So Ben's having just a little bit of silence over there. Johnny's gutted. But having said that,
yes,
I have treated myself to one of our nice new Crafter's Companion heat tools.
And
it just happens to have two. So it's got a low setting on it, which is it's not as quiet as much, but it's not bad. And then when you put it onto the full one,
still quiet.
So the fact that you've got both settings in there, again, Leanne's done her work. You know, we can rely on her. So a couple of things on heat embossing then. While this is like it is, it's still powder, and if I was to rub it, it would just move. We need to heat set it, and what that means is actually starting to melt the powder, and it becomes glossy.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's still very sort of opaque almost. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, the biggest tip again I can give you with this is get your heat tool on. Now, if I was doing a drying technique like I used to do with my little purple tool, I would put it on setting 1, okay? But because I want to heat this and melt the powder, I'm going to go for setting 2. We've got that directional nozzle on here, and I want it to get up to temperature before I hit the card.
Yeah.
The moment you apply heat to card, it will start and warp it. I haven't found, in nearly 20 years, I haven't found a way around that. But the less time it's on the card, the less warping. So by getting this up to temperature and making sure it's hot, and then all I'm going to do is aim, we're going to start at this corner here, and I'm going to aim that nozzle at that particular area on the card and hold it there until it starts to work. So we'll get our Jamie on this. He's going to get as close as he can, and then I'm going in here. You'll see it go from that, if I can get it in the light, let me just tip it a little bit to see if we can get it, and it'll go from the white sort of matte colour. I can see this going now. And all I'm doing is just chasing it around. It's not as obvious on the screen, is it? Let me just see. So working on the A now.
Oh, there you go,
Yeah,
so
there
that
we
go.
You can see the difference there now, look, yeah?
Yeah.
So just follow it round. Once it's gone shiny,
Yeah.
you move away from it.
Okay.
If you continue heating it, it almost sort of sinks into the card.
Yeah.
So again, just mind your fingers with this. Just be aware that the heat tools are very hot. But you can see how it's changing there.
And over the top is best rather than underneath, isn't it?
Different schools of thought with
okay.
it. Different schools of thought. It depends what you're wanting to get, all right? And I will explain that a little bit. What happens is, when you heat from above there, and just a note on the cardstock, while it's still warm, if you manipulate it, you can pretty much get it back into shape. So, heating from the top, you're going straight into the powder. All right, and you get almost like a very, very faint, I don't think we'll be able to pick that up on the camera. There's a very faint dimpling to the actual, I can't get it to show on there. It's coming as close, there we go, look on the D, if you look at the D right in the middle, it's almost a bit like orange peel.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. If you heat from underneath, thanks Jamie, if you heat from underneath, it does tend to go a little bit smoother.
Okay.
Okay. But again, it's one of those things that you try it.
Horses for courses.
Sometimes I'll work from underneath. Sometimes when I'm on air, it's easier to show you from underneath because you can see the embossing happening.
Yeah.
Once that's done, it's finished. Okay, that's the actual heat embossing technique. Now, don't touch it straight away. It just takes a few seconds to get it dry, or cool down, should I say, rather than dry. It's not wet. It needs to cool down. While it's still warm, you could actually smudge it. Okay, so what I did was exactly this, and I've got that little tiny bit where my stamp didn't quite make contact. But what I've done is I've done exactly that at home, and I've cut it down to the size that I want to go on my card.
Yeah.
And then I've just been round the edge of it with one of our metallic ink pads. All right, so I didn't want the white round the edge. I've actually gone for a colour to tone with my project. So I used the blush ink and literally just run the ink pad round the edge of it just to sort of finish it off. So we've gone from there to there, and I know that this one's fine.
Yeah.
Going back to this one now, it should be dry enough. What I normally do at that point is just take your soft cloth and gently give it a little wipe over. And that will get rid of any residue of the anti-static pad, and also what we call any bloom from the embossing powder, because sometimes you'll see like a little white halo around it, or whatever colour you're working in. That should get rid of it at the end. You can see there that there's very little else on there other than that embossing. So again, just very simply then to pop it together, I've actually made some mats and layers. We've gone for a square card this time, a bit bigger. I think it's a 7.5 square. And then I've been very frugal with my ribbon. I've remembered I put it on because I always forget, but I didn't have much of this left. So bearing in mind this is going to go in the middle, nobody's going to be aware that there's a gap. All right, so that's why it doesn't actually reach in the middle there. So literally a few runs with my tape runner again.
Do you want a few questions whilst you're matting and layering?
Yeah, absolutely, because I'm just going to stick this together now, yeah.
All right, so June asks, if I stamp in quick dry ink, then I colour in the image, what pens would I use?
Quick dry inks are water-based, so you would need your alcohol pens.
Okay.
Yep.
Terry says, also watching you, the clear embossing powder I have is the cheapest from a craft store. It cracks if the card is slightly bent. Is that the nature of all clear embossing powders?
Not necessarily. It could be, if it's an inexpensive one, that it's not doing as good a job as some of the others.
Okay.
If
But
that
not all of them crack.
happens,
Yeah.
well, once it's cracked, it's not really easy to... but what you can do is you can reheat it. Now, again, there's a danger. There's a very fine line between heating and overheating. Like I said, if you overheat it, as in keep the heat tool on it too long, the powder starts sinking. I don't know what happens, but it starts sinking back into the card, whereas here, I can feel the lettering. But if you just do it very gently, if you've got a crack, especially if it's clear embossing powder, if you've got a crack in it, just gently pop your heat tool over it and it should almost like seal the crack. Okay.
And I think
worth a try.
That may well have then sort of answered Kate's question, which is after you've heat embossed your sentiment and it's all melted, but then you notice you've missed a bit, can you then line it up again and like reheat emboss
yes,
it?
yeah. If you've got the stamping platform, the magnetic one, yes, you can actually wait while it's cooled down. I wouldn't go in straight away, especially not with an acrylic stamp. A photopolymer one's absolutely fine, but an acrylic stamp, I would wait while it's cooled down. What you need to make sure is that you get your card back in the same place. Though.
Yes.
Okay. But the other thing that you can buy, I don't think we have them on our website, but you should find them if you look on the old Tinternet. You can buy an embossing pen, which just looks like a pen.
Yeah.
And it has a core running through it with the sticky ink in it. Now, mine at home's got a bullet nib on one end and a chisel nib on the other end, so it's brilliant. Like this bit here, I could literally go in and just touch up with the pen where that bit's missed, and then add your embossing powder over it and reheat it. So there's ways around most things.
Yes.
Yep. So all I've done then is I've just used some of my nesting dies here to make some layers, and we're literally just going to pop this one in the middle and let that stamped image do the talking.
Yep.
Now the reason I've just added a little bit of glue to my foam there is because it's going to go over the top of all the twine and everything. So I want a really nice grab.
Leanne was recommending that every time she uses foam the other day, so she always puts a bit of glue on there.
Yep. I just want to try
longevity.
It is. It's sort of like foam pads for now.
Yeah.
Wet glue forever.
Forever. Exactly right. Yeah.
Can't get it straight for the sake of life. I'm going to go with it there.
That looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think I don't know whether I'm looking at the distance around it. So that's my first layer. The papers that I've got here are actually the reverse side of our beautiful Say It with flowers. Now I didn't want, the reason I've turned it over is because I didn't, those papers are absolutely beautiful, and I think we've got them on the show later. But I didn't want the busyness of that design to interfere with the actual sentiment. So the back of them, you've got some really nice sort of same colour tones, but much less busy. So I've just used the reverse of it. And again, because we're going to go onto that cardstock, I'm going to bring in my wet glue here.
Okay.
All right, a little bit of the all-purpose. And I've just cut this with a stitched square nesting die. The previous one was a scalloped square nesting die, and then I did actually cut my sentiment with one of the nesting dies, but it wasn't quite small enough, so I ended up going round it with the guillotine. So it's just a case of thinking about where you want these, you know, how much you want them to show. The next nesting die down, there was very little of this colour showing, and I wanted a bit more of it, so I just trimmed it down a wee bit more so that we'd got that area there. And again, I've put foam tape on the back of this one, and I just happen to have at home black foam tape, which is handy when you're working on black card.
Do we have black foam tape?
I've not seen it here. This is actually off the internet, but you know, like for what I've got here, to then have white foam tape, you can colour the white foam tape with your alcohol pens if you wish, but I've just literally popped the black on there.
It's hunky dory. I'm getting confused because they brought some last year when they were with us. Yeah.
And then pop that one in the middle. Now I don't have any gems on it this time, so my 3 embellishments this time are all die cuts. And from that same range of dies, these are the little flower blooms in that range. And again, there's lots of different flowers to choose from. No, I'm telling you fibs. I'm telling you fibs, this was the set of 3 floral dies that came out. There was the little explosion ones that looked like fireworks. Then there was quite a retro looking one, and then this is the daisy one. Yeah, I just say I normally put the extra ones in, but for some reason I've not included them this time. So I've just put, because this is all raised up, I've just popped a little foam pad on the back of each one. So I've cut them in the black card, and then I've just had a rummage through my embellishments and popped some nice little pink stars on there that match the paper. And again, because we're going on to the extra pieces, I'm just going to pop a bit of wet glue, that tacky glue. Once you've stuck it with, it's going not there.
Oh, hello.
Not there. There we go. So I'm going to put one at the bottom there. I don't think this is straight, but it's bothering me, but we'll go with it.
It's fine.
It doesn't look quite straight to me.
Not quite, but I like it.
Do you?
On the wonk is
bit
good.
Wonky.
A little bit on the wonk.
So these are just going to go 2 at the bottom, and then my third one's going to offset it up here, just so that we've got that sort of 1, 2, 3 again. So we're just going to have one of them up at the top there. So I've got 3 embellishments there. As I say, there's no rule that says it has to be 3, but that's your sort of your white embossing to create that chalkboard technique, which again can be quite sort of striking, I think, the white on the black.
Absolutely gorgeous. And do you know what I love about these as well is that the 2 demos you've seen so far, again, I know Jan is always very thorough when she shows us her demos, but all very achievable. I know we've got so many new people watching after New Year, New Craft, very achievable, but the stamps are awesome, aren't they, for giving you a real centerpiece. And I love how these sentiments will take sort of centre stage for your particular project. We are a third of the stock of the mindfulness quotes now gone. That's the Showstopper. They don't officially launch for another couple of hours, so think about grabbing these. I know a lot of you already have bought them. A lot of you now just watching the demos and thinking, I'm going to jump in and grab these. If you do go for them, I think it's definitely worth going for the Showstopper, because we're going to put in 1 ink pad for you here, the Pale Fig, and then we're going to give you 2 more for free, the Parakeet and also the Lagoon in the quick dry. So it's nice to have that selection of quick dry inks included too, and some really beautiful mindfulness quotes in there. And as you've seen, you don't have to do a lot to create some really stunning cards with these quotes, which are going to take centerpiece on all of your projects. So a third of the stock gone. You're under £20 if you're platinum, $28.56 if you're shopping in the US. So snap those up. We'll give you time to check out in a minute. I just wanted to go back to reiterate yesterday's launch. Now the Showstopper of this gone, as I said, the Showstopper deals have tended to sell out over the course of this week, but we've still got the box on its own, officially launching yesterday. And what a beautiful, beautiful box this is. I'll take you through everything that you're going to get within it, and then just show you a few cards yesterday, which I think the majority of them are the ones that Sarah made, actually. But it's a lovely box. And as we were chatting, I think a lot of you will be picking this up. You're getting over 230 elements in here, and automatically your mind is switched to Valentine's, which is just a few weeks away. This box is so much more than just a Valentine's box, as we were chatting about. You can send love for birthdays and anniversaries, and just because this is a box that you will use all year round, and it's beautiful. You've got 22 dies included in here. Lots of use yesterday out of this little frame here, which we were saying is very much like a little Polaroid frame, and Sarah had printed off a lot of pictures and had framed those up with that. And you've got the little postage stamp die there as well. This super little die as well, which someone said looked like a little worm, is perfect for adding like a little heart embellishment too, and you can keep all of the bits that you die cut out to use for your shakers. This envelope as well, you saw used a lot yesterday too. You've got that extra cut there where you can slot in, like you're seeing here, the hearts and the little florals and the little hearts on stalks there too. You're also going to get a lovely selection of stamps, and as you can see, they match up beautifully with the dies that you're going to get in this set. This stamp here, absolutely beautiful. If you go back and watch the launch show yesterday, you can see a lovely demo that Sarah did with that, doing a bit of heat embossing on that in gold, which looked absolutely stunning. Love the postmarks that you get in here as well, and some lovely little quirky sentiments too. Then you're going to get a stunning embossing folder. Again, this you will see used at least twice yesterday. Your 3D heart panel folder. Sarah was running that through the Mini and the MIDI and creating some really, really beautiful panels on a selection of cards. Then you're getting stencils in here too, 2 stencils to work with. So you've got that gorgeous heart panel stencil, rectangular, and then this one I absolutely love is the Je t'aime, oui, 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 non, 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 je t'aime, with the little heart borders and the little, I called them love doves yesterday, but they're love love birds, aren't they? Not love doves. Love doves. You're getting 100 gems in here, some coloured. You're getting a selection of those as well that you can colour in with your alcohol markers. You're getting ribbon in red, blue and pink. And you're also going to be getting a selection of charms as well. 3 designs, 2 of each. You've got little hearts in there. You've got a beautiful floral and the key as well. And again, as we were talking about yesterday, if you wanted to, you could add a bit of colour to those. But there's more. For the first time in one of our boxes, you're getting 8 sheets of your 8x8 craft card, which works beautifully with the papers which I'm coming on to. 8 sheets of your white cardstock in 8x8. And then the papers and your coloured card blanks are amazing. 24 sheets of papers here, 8 designs, 3 of each. And I mean, if you love your florals, you're going to absolutely go bonkers for these. But what I love most, well, not most, on a par with the A side, I love the B tracks on these as well. I love the fact that we're doing these like sort of wood panel, wood effect reverses, which I think works so well with the florals. And what I loved about this also is if you flip this one over here and you see that sort of polka dot design, there's so many different textures and designs within this collection. Do you know what, if you struggle to kind of put your mats and layers together, you wouldn't automatically think that these would work, but they absolutely do. And you'll see on a whole host of the cards, I'll just show you in a second, that it's so easy just to delve into your box here, pick out a few of your papers, and you know that all of these will match up absolutely beautifully with each other. Those beautiful papers come also alongside your 24 8x8 block colours. You're getting 6 colours, 4 each, and again, everything's been thought of. These all match up absolutely beautifully with your pattern papers that are right there. So stunning. And let me just show you a few of the cards which were popped together yesterday. This one we love. So this was not so much a card, this one was a scrapbook page. And I was saying to Sarah yesterday, it was so nice to see this, because when we see the scrapbook pages here, normally 12 by 12, but that one on an 8x8 page. And again, how beautiful, just onto a piece of white cardstock that you've got within this set, a little bit of matting and layering, and then you've got all of these different added elements here. Some of the gems on there, using that little frame and that little heart die cut into the bottom to create that border, popping in a little photo, and then stuffing that envelope with all of the little bits of foliage, the little heart flowers. You've got your rose there. Really, really simple, but very, very effective. Then another one here, similar sort of design. Sarah was loving this particular die here, but she's created a little shaker with that one, just adding some little heart sequins in there, using lots of different elements once again. Just a simple bit of matting and layering. And then she really went to town, just choosing a few of the different elements that you've got in the box to create a really stunning piece. This one here as well, absolutely loved. Again, just creating this card with the panel in the centre, using that embossing folder, just using the mats and layers with the white cardstock and the craft cardstock, and again just building up the background here. And you can see what I mean, all of the different papers that you've got, the A side and the B side working perfectly together. Love that one. And then this card here, she also made, we settled on this being called a double Dutch card in the end, didn't we? I said it was called a barn door card, but you know, barn door, double Dutch, whatever you want to call it, it's entirely up to you. But again, really, really simple in its construction, but looks so, so stunning with all of the papers, the embellishments, and once again, you're seeing that beautiful frame being used. She was going to town with that yesterday. But what a set. It's over 230 elements, and of course, you know, eventually the consumables will go, but if you look after all of your stencils, all of your stamps and all of your dies, you've got those to craft with forever. £39.99 is your platinum price, or $47.96. Value for money. It is incredible. And then also, one thing I just want to quickly show you before we take a quick break is the collector's edition of Spectra Noir pens. Very busy for this set. Normally £30 or $35. You're getting an over 25% saving here, bringing you down to £17.60 or $20.80. I know a lot of you have picked this up previously, but within this box, what you've got is, if you are a Spectra Noir collector, if you haven't yet got this, you'll want to grab it, because you've got exclusive colours within the box. Maybe you're someone who's looking for a gift idea for a crafter. This is perfect. Or indeed, again, if you're someone perhaps who is, you know, just starting off and you want a little bit of a taster in all of the different pens that we've got, this is a great way to be able to do it. Within the set, exclusive colours, as I've said, you've got one of our tri-blend brush pens, that's in the floral pink. You've got a couple of our tri-blend pens in there, so you've got the pearl blue blend and you've got your sage blend. You've got one of our tricolour aquas in there, and this pen, It's like the Holy Grail, this one, isn't it? It's a one of a kind that you can only get within this collector's edition box. It is a tri-metallic, yes, thank you, Johnny, tricolour metallic, thank goodness you're here, which gives you gold plate, silver ingot, and your antique bronze, worth, for the price alone, just picking that one up. You've then also got, £10 if you sold that on its own. So really, I mean, it's value for money right there. You're getting another classique in here as well, that's Mystic Blue. You're getting 2 exclusive colours in our glitter pen, so Striking Purple and Vivid Pink. You've got our Jade Green in our acrylic paint marker, and then we've also popped in one of our sparkle brushes in there too. So a lovely selection. It's like one of those chocolate selection boxes you got at Christmas time, and it's with a 25% saving today. So if you haven't yet picked it up, grab it. You may well have already bought this previously, and you need to grab it again. It's a great day to do it with that saving of 25%. £17.60 or $20.80. We're going to take a short break, so it's a great opportunity for you to get any more comments in and also to ask any more questions. I love it when Jan's in, because I think you guys you feel like you can ask a few more questions, and I think that's a good thing to do, because more often than not, Jan knows all of the answers. So get the questions in. Anything you want to know about anything we've got on the show today, get them asked, and we'll tackle those questions and more of your comments after this. We're going to go backstage and have a look at some of our backstage heroes.
I have to tell you, every single person works tirelessly behind the scenes, and I can't just give a shout out to one person, because for me it has to be John, Tracy and Jake.
Going to give a shout out to our backstage hero, and I'm actually going to say heroes. It has got to be our product coordination team. It's got to be.
Because without those 3 people, when we're on air, we wouldn't be able to function like we do. They make sure we have everything we need, right from the samples to the product to having a drink of water throughout the show. They really look after us.
You see us day in, day out, 7 days a week, live on TV. We're crafting away, we're hopefully inspiring you. Every single card, every single product, every single tool that we touch has come from product coordination. Those guys are the unsung hero. They're there making sure we have the products, we have the inks, we have the tools, we have everything that we need. We have the power to actually work our Gemini ranges. The smooth running of behind the scenes of Crafters TV is all down to our product coordination team.
Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get your hands on the latest crafty must-haves. Leave the hard work to us while you shop from the comforts of your own living room. Head to the Crafters Companion website to see our full crafty range, or hit the Shop the Day button to see all the new and exciting products featuring on Crafters TV. Once you've filled your cart, leave it to us to get your crafty goodies to you in super quick time, so you can get on with being creative. Crafters Companion, making crafty shopping a breeze. Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get social with us. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, on your TV or tablet, you can get so close to the action, it's like you're in the studio with us. You can ask questions about products or crafty techniques. Get hints and tips from our expert demonstrators. Plus, share pictures of your crafty makes with our amazing community. Crafters TV, getting you closer to the crafty action.
Here is the news. The January news. It's being reported that all this week on Crafters TV, there'll be new products launching each and every day. The January news. Early indications suggest there'll be something new for all crafters,
including confetti borders on Monday the 23rd with Leanne, textured embossing folders with Debbie Fisher on Tuesday the 24th, Sarah's signature love box on Wednesday the 25th with Sarah herself. Thursday the 26th, we have quote stamps with Jan. And finally, Floribunda pads with Sarah on Friday the 27th.
When asked for a comment on all the new news, Sarah Davies said, it's gonna be off the chart, man, thebomb.com. For more up-to-the-minute information, check out the Crafters TV website and tune in to Crafters TV all week from Monday, the 23rd of January. That was the January news. Finally, some good news to look forward to.
Wow, says Suzanne Dawn. I've never heard of an embossing pen. That sounds interesting. Sarah Brown saying the last project looked beautiful. Terry Anderson says, Jan, reheating it worked to charm, project saved. Thank you. I'm still going to order better powder, but at least that project was saved.
Yes.
Michelle says, Jan really helps me think outside the box, especially when I'm finishing off a card. And lots of you still oohing and ahhing about the Sent with Love box that we had. There are lovely papers in that box, says Sam Derbyshire. And Pammy saying, Sarah really outdid herself yesterday. You can tell she loves that kit. It is stunning. And that collector's edition as well, Cynthia just saying the collector's set was my first pen purchase last year, and it started my colouring journey. What a great place to start, and you've echoed those sentiments, Cynthia. Absolutely a brilliant, brilliant set. We've got about 35 minutes left on the show, so I'm going to try and squeeze in some more demos with Jan, and of course we'll have to do that vote for the demo of the show a little bit later on. 35% now of the mindfulness quotes Showstopper has gone. All 6 of those brand new quotes you're going to get, and of course we're going to give you 2 of those ink pads, the quick dry ink pads, for free alongside the other one, which you get within the bundle for £19.15 platinum or $28.56. Let's get on to the next demo then, Jan, and which of the stamps are you going to use?
Right, so we're going to do a little bit of dreaming more, but while we're dreaming, we're going to be working harder.
Are we?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So I've tried to do like a different technique, although the stamps, you know, the stamps are all reasonably similar sized. Again, you know, when I move this one, you can see they are a good sort of focal point size. But what I wanted to do was look at different ways of stamping with them. So we used the black ink on the first one. The second one, we did the white embossing powder, which gave us that chalkboard technique. What I'm going to do this time is we're going to do a little bit of an ombre stamp. We're going to use all 3 colours down the stamp to create that ombre effect on the sentiment. So I've got my quick dry inks again, and I've got the turquoise family there, which is the Oasis, Parakeet and Lagoon. And is that what you've got over there, Ben?
Lagoon, Parakeet, yeah.
Yeah, are they the quick dries?
Yeah.
So yeah, they'd be perfect for this particular technique then. So we're going to pop this one in again. So if you have just joined into us, we're looking at acrylic stamps today. So that's those lovely nice see-through stamps, so you can see exactly where you're stamping. Okay, so I'm literally just going to put, and I always work on a slightly bigger piece of cardstock. Very, very rarely do I try and stamp into something that's the size that I want it to finish.
Okay.
It just gives you a bit more leeway. If your stamp's not quite straight, you can sort that out when you trim it down. So yeah, I nearly always pop in a little bit bigger card than what I need. Now this is actually the multi-purpose card again. It will also work on your Nina cardstock. So all the stamping that I've done straight onto card, Nina works perfectly, but again it was that fit for purpose. The first design that I did had the ink on it, and I like to do the inking on my multi-purpose card. This one I'm using the quick dry inks, and it was just that I'd got multi-purpose card lying around. So as I say, the Nina would work perfectly for this particular one. We're going to make a little bit of home decor with this one. So again, taking it outside those parameters of card making, it could still be a card. You know, there are lots of different card shapes, and the beauty of this when you've got a stamp to work with is that you can apply it to any of those card shapes, and that's what we're going to try and look at during the launch show at 2 o'clock. I've got some different shape cards, again some different ways of stamping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my set of 3 inks. I'm going to start from the top. Now just an awareness, if you weren't watching last week when we were discussing the inks, the quick dry inks have got a spongy surface. Yeah. So if you press them down hard, you're going to get an oval of ink everywhere, which is not really a problem with this particular stamping system, other than that you're wasting your ink. So nice, gentle. It's almost like what I call kissing the stamp. You can feel it, and then when you let go, there's that little tiny bit of resistance where it's gone sort of onto the stamp. Did you like that sound effect?
I did like. Well, how did it go again?
Like that, yeah. So I'm just going to sort of look at about the top third of the stamp and give that a really generous covering of ink. And then I'm going to bring in the mid-tone, which is parakeet. And I'm sort of going to work, rather than going flat this time, I'm going to work with sort of the edge of the ink pad, because I want to come about 2/3 down this time and meet with that oasis that we've already put on. So you can do this all in one go. If you're not so confident, ink up the top bit, stamp, ink up the middle bit, stamp, ink up. And if you're not so hot at getting it where you want it, don't forget you can always take a wet wipe or a damp piece of cloth and wipe away the ink where you don't need it. All right, so again, the darkest one is Lagoon. And again, I'm going to tip it more onto its side rather than going flat. Try not to ink myself up. And then just from the bottom, I'm going to come up and meet that parakeet on that bottom third of the stamp there. So make sure you've got plenty on. Now, quick dry inks only dry on a porous surface. So this is going to stay wet long enough now on the stamp for me to work with. Yeah. And again, once you're happy, on the top there, and I always keep one hand on it and just press everywhere. Now, what I think it was Christine was saying earlier was if you do struggle with the pressure on it or anything like that, I tend to use my bottle, bottom of my bottle, and you can just press over the top. You can buy special tools that do the job. Somebody's cashed in on that as a thing and made a tool. Yeah. But I just use my bottle like so, and you're going to get that direct pressure and you get that lovely sort of ombre effect there. Now again, if you wanted that to be slightly more bold, which I like with the quick dry, I like to build them up, we're just going to do the same again. So again, I'm going to show you that top. All right. And bring that top one. We're going to take the middle one and come in that bottom, middle third, and then...
We've just been chatting about this sentiment actually, because it's a funny one within the set, isn't it? So dream more, work harder. But I suppose, you know, if your dreams are big,
the harder you work, the more chance you've got
of making dreams. So if you're dreaming about having, I don't know, like a yacht and a home in Barbados or something, and you know you're dreaming of rolling around in loads of cash, you're gonna have to work hard, aren't you?
It is.
You know. Like Scrooge McDuck, Johnny just said. That's DuckTales, isn't it? Woo! Yeah, so exactly right. It's, dream more, work harder.
And you can just see that it just makes it a bit more bold with that second application. And then because these are all water-based inks, all right, we often sort of bypass this bit, but what I will do is just move that bit. All I tend to do with mine is a little spritz with the water, and then the good old cloth comes in for everything. And honestly, it will take away all the ink. The only time that I would get a proper stamp cleaner out is if I'd used a solvent-based ink and it's staying in the stamps, but you can see that's literally come up pretty much like new. And that's all it needs. And then if you're keeping them in the packaging, I always pop them straight back onto the carrier, and don't throw this bit away. All right, we always add that second piece because it protects your stamp from any UV lighting and any light rays coming in from outside, which can not particularly damage your stamp, but it does sort of discolour it. So that top piece there is actually there for a reason. If you're working in some of our binders where you've got the pages where the stamps stick into, then obviously you can take that one off and stick your stamps in. I would still leave that front one on, gives you a little bit more reference point without having to try and read your clear stamps. So I usually keep that on there. So that's that one. And then what I've done with this is I was into my nesting dies this week completely. Oh yeah. So yeah, I just took, and this one's actually, I love these. This is the torn rectangles. And all I've done is pop that around here. You can see I've done exactly the same, and just cut it out with one of the torn edge rectangles. And then I've just had some of my favourite little dewdrop pearls. I love those. I thought with it being turquoisey colour, they look like bubbles almost,
they do
don't
look like
they?
bubbles. Yeah?
So that's going to be the focal point then of our design. And then as I say, I wanted to make it a little bit more of a piece of wall art this time. So I've taken a couple of pieces of cardstock. I've got some of the all-purpose and some of the matte black, and I've stuck them together. And my overall, I was sort of umming and ahhing as to what size I needed, and often it's this bit here and that I work up from to end up with the finish, rather than starting with this and working down.
Yeah.
Think, right, well, that's a certain size. I want to do X, Y, and Z, and that's how I arrive at that outside bit. So in this instance, I think this measured 10 by 8, yeah. So 10 inches on the height by 8 inches on the width, and just stuck them together with my collal, which ends up sticking together like cement.
Yep.
So you've got a really good base. If you've got any mount board lying around, you could do mount board for that back layer. Okay. And then again, I've been in that paper pad. So this is those gorgeous Say It With Flowers, or the one that you've just looked at, Ben, would work nice with this. But again, I don't want it to be too busy, so I'm actually going to use that other side. And because this is going to be wall art, I'm going to stick with that collal all-purpose glue for the time being, because it's almost like adding, when it sets, it's almost like having another layer of cardstock in. It's set so firm. We tend to refer to it as rubber cement. It's really does set and gives your projects quite a lot of strength.
Where's that paper? Is that Say It With Flowers, did you say?
This is Say It With Flowers,
right,
yeah.
Okay.
But I'm actually using that plain side again.
Yeah.
And also with the wet glue, you can pop it down, and of course you've got your time to just wriggle that into place. Okay, so that's going to be my first layer, and give that chance to adhere on there. And as I said, you've got about a minute before it starts to cure to just move that round, all right? And then the second layer, this is actually cardstock from that same range. So we do a textured cardstock pack that match the Say It Flowers, which we've got coming up as a bundle, I think, on the 2 o'clock show.
We have got Say It With Flowers.
And again, I've gone through and I decided I wanted a slightly larger border this time. Okay, and then I've used the piece that was the one up from this, and I've cut my aperture with that decal-edged rectangle again. Okay, and I've popped some tape on this one to raise it up. So again, we're just going to take the backing off the foam tape. You can use foam pads if you've got them. I buy this on a reel. It comes in a great big sort of like cartwheel because I get through so much of it, and then I tend to use my foam pads for areas that are a wee bit smaller. Yeah. So again, I'm just going to take those edges off.
Just whilst you're taking these off, we'll say hi to Rosalind who's joined us. Kate says, you shouldn't have favourites, but I do love watching Jan. I love all the mixed media things she does, and I always come away really inspired. And Pammy echoes that, saying, inspired, relaxed and educated.
Oh, bless. Thank you,
win,
guys.
win.
I think I've got some more mixed media coming up next month.
Have you?
I think so, yeah. I've had a quick look at the schedule for February, and I believe there is another mixed media. I don't think it's a masterclass. Okay. But yeah, I did see. Oh, producer Johnny's saying next week. Is it on
Friday?
the 3rd, Johnny? Yeah.
Oh, who's that? Oh, it's Cradle.
Right, yeah.
Cradle Bagel in. Softer Side with Becky, Wake Up Call and Mixed Media Masterclass with you in the evening, Jan.
Excellent, yeah. So I'm not quite sure what's on there yet. I've not got the details yet, but it should be some nice messy goodness to play with again. Messy goodness. I brought my apron last time. So so that I didn't get splattered in everything, because we'd got all sorts on. And then again, like we did before, because this is going to be a piece of artwork that's hopefully going to be, you know, sort of hung on the wall, I'm just going to go back, and I'm constantly flipping between the glues. It's that fit for purpose again. Because I'm working onto the foam, I'm going to use that tacky glue, which is known to stick pretty much anything together. Yeah. And I'm just going to add a few drops on here, just to give it that insurance. Like we said, you know, the tape is fine, but it can start drying out over a period of time. Yeah. Okay, and then this one's going to nest nicely in here. So we've got about the same border around the outside edge, and that's what I'm focusing on now, that I've got the same here and here around the outside. So that's going to be layer number 2. Okay. And then I had a route through my stash and came up with some beautiful mirror card.
Is that that's paper? Is that Paper Dynamics?
No, it's ours.
Is it?
Yeah. It's from an old Sarah signature. I would say one of the winter collections. And what I did was, I used to keep them all in their packets, but for space, I took everything out of its packet. Yeah. And I now have a stash of what I call speciality card. Right. In colour order. So I just have a rummage through. Producer Johnny's like, of course it's in colour order, Jan. You know, they know me too well now, don't you? So yeah, I just had a look at the colours and thought, right, I'll go with that lovely turquoisey colour. I think it was in something like Winter Wonderland or
I do not
Christmas.
recognise
I'm
that.
going back quite a while, yeah. But it's the only way I use it. When it's left in the packets, I forget about it.
Yeah.
So I've actually cut it to size using this one as a measurement. And then I've actually popped it through an embossing folder because I just wanted some texture. So I've actually passed it through one of my embossing folders.
Right, I get you, okay.
So it's actually, you can't see for the tape on the back, but it's actually embossed.
Right.
So it's actually just textured now rather than it be flat. Because what I didn't want, if it was going to be a piece of wall art, was it constantly reflecting the light all the time. The embossing actually takes a little bit of that glare away.
Yeah.
So again, I've got tape on that one. So again, if there's anything else, Ben, you want to say while I just take the...
Yeah, there's a few comments coming through. Apparently you're saying, what a smart way of figuring your mats. Once again, a home run for Jan. Heather Springer says, I put glue on both sides of my foam.
Yep.
And Michelle Parsons, this is a comment of the show, I start drying out over time too. Do you think a mask of tacky glue would help me as well? I mean, you've heard of weirder things.
Absolutely love it.
Don't
That's
obviously,
brilliant.
don't do that.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
Can you imagine?
So I'm just taking those last pieces off, and then we're going to layer this one on top, and then we're going to drop that sentiment into the middle. So we've almost created like a little bit of innerpage.
Yes.
So instead of doing decoupage and building out from the centre,
Inverpage.
we're actually got the highest layers are on the outside, and then we're going to look down into that sentiment in the middle. So again, just that little bit of extra insurance.
Thank you, Rachel, as well. It says, Ben, you're right. It did look like that Paper Dynamics card till she said it was embossed. It was very similar to a range that Keith did do. And it is Winter Wonderland, Christine Mahoney says.
I've just got my set of 3 little pearls at the top there.
Yeah.
So we've got 3. And then I'm also going to bring in another set of 3 with the embellishments. So we've doubled that this time. So we've got that one, and I've left a bit of the turquoise showing on this edge, and then you've got that lovely decal edge in the middle there. Okay. Now, my embossing folder for this wasn't quite big enough to do the whole thing, so I put it in 2 halves, and I'm going to be honest with you here. There's a little tiny mark here.
Oh, I can't see that.
I don't know whether you can see there. Look, you can just see where it's caught.
Well, yeah.
Anne didn't like that bit. Jan didn't like that bit.
Oh,
so
Jan didn't like.
That's where the embellishments came in. So first of all, we're now going to drop this into the centre, which is where all that 3 layers of colour came in. So again, that one's just going onto plain cardstock. So I'm going to flick back to the all-purpose glue. And if you're unsure about the glues, there are a lot of shows on our channel now
Lots of glue
on
schools.
YouTube that are glue schools. I've done a couple of them. I know the team have done some, and you'll be able to look at all the different glues and what the purpose is. We've got another one coming up.
This Sunday, apparently.
Excellent, yeah.
With Debbie
so we've got
Fisher?
Debbie Robinson or Debbie Fisher?
Robinson.
Debbie Robinson on Sunday then, yeah. So if you're not sure about the glues, they're worth a watch and they're worth bookmarking so that you can go back to them. So because we've got those 3 little pearls there, and Jan wanted to cover up the naughty bit here, we've gone back into that first collection, which were those little outline dies where we got the dragonfly from. But these are the butterflies this time. So you get 3 different sizes. Now I've left out the largest one and used the middle one and the small one. And now, all of a sudden...
Here it is, covering up a mistake with a butterfly.
We've put a butterfly on it, of course, haven't we?
Of course.
So again, I think I put, I've got a little bit of tape just on the back of there. All right, at the ready. And these are just going to go on as extra embellishments. So we're going to have him down at the bottom there. And I've just put some pearls in the centre there. I absolutely adore... I've got sets of boxes of the Dreamies pearls.
Oh
my goodness, I love them. They've got such a, almost like an aurora effect on them. But you've got pearls in a lot of the Crafter's Companion subscription boxes.
Yeah.
There's, you can get them in lots of different places. And then the very last thing, because it's going to be a piece of wall art, I've popped a couple of pieces of tape on the back. So just measured where I wanted that to be. And then I've brought a little piece of ribbon.
Oh, okay.
That we're just going to pop on the back there.
I was thinking you were going to pop it in a frame, but that's a great idea.
It could go in a frame if you wish, or if you want to hang it, we've just popped that ribbon on top there. So if I flick that round now so that you can see, you know, it doesn't have to be all card projects. You know, you can change it into whatever you want, and that was just using those quick dry inks to show that ombre sort of stamping effect there.
Very good, very nice.
Okay.
Lots of love for that. Christine Mahoney just saying, I love this project. And Sandra Dunder saying, I was thinking about making a drawer of odd sheets that I have from over the years in colour groups. Sounds like it is a good idea if Jan's done it. I mean, if Jan's done it, I mean, yeah, it is a good idea, basically. But what a lovely, lovely card. Let me just quickly, we'll get Jan to get all of her cards and projects lined up, and we'll do the vote for the demo of the show. But let's just remind you of everything that you're going to get in the Showstopper. We are now over 40% of the stock gone. Doesn't officially launch for another hour and a quarter. We might be, you know, limited stockage by the time we get to the show. You never know. We're very busy once again. I think people are getting used to getting up early, especially this week with the January news. They're getting all the new deals nice and early, and then coming in and watching the official launch show and picking up all of the inspiration. But you're going to get the 6 of your mindfulness quotes within this collection. All beautiful sayings, and actually all really beautifully designed stamps as well. Big, bold pieces, as you've seen, to be that focal point for your project, whether it is a card or, as you've seen just then, whether it's a home decor piece. So breathe in, breathe out. I like the little...
the starburst brand.
Yeah, like sun or starburst
nice,
fragrance on that one. Very, very nice. Then you've got your Think Happy Thoughts. Like you were saying, that one really catches the eye because you've got the same sort of font on the Think and Thoughts, and then you've got the Happy in block capitals, which is beautiful. This one, Dream More, Work Harder. Make your dreams come true, that one. I think that's what it's saying, isn't it, really? Dream more, work harder.
Yeah.
Then you've got Good Things, Take Time. Patience is a virtue. This one is, I think, what's everyone's favourites? Let me know in the comment. I think this is my favourite saying.
I like this one, I must admit.
It's good to giggle, it's good to laugh, isn't it? Because it releases the...
Is it endorphins?
The dolphins.
The dolphins.
Yeah.
Giggle more, worry less. I just think it just says everything, doesn't it? Yeah. Life's too short. Spend it giggling, not worrying.
Exactly right. No point worrying. So a lot of the time when you do worry, you end up worrying, and it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. Make today amazing. That is, again, a really lovely saying. And actually, that one is the most popular individually. Think Happy Thoughts. So there we go. And then Make Today Amazing. So those two are the most popular if you're looking to buy individually. You can make your own little mini bundle, but the best value for money is to go for the Showstopper, because we give you all the 6 stamps that you've just seen there. You're going to also get the Pale Fig, not then, Pale Fig, and then we're going to give you 2 for free. So 2 which Jan has used actually. You've got Lagoon, and you've also got the Parakeet included as well. You're picking those up for free. £19.15 is the platinum price, or $28.56 if you're shopping in the US and you're platinum. Zoe says, maybe if I put a butterfly on my face, it would make it look better. What are you guys like today? Talking about putting glue on you so you're drying out.
Honestly.
Sorry, you don't need butterflies on your face.
Not at all.
You are beautiful as you are. That is actually true. Sandra says, Jan, you were always going to put butterflies on this position was just influenced. What? Jan, I don't know what that means. Jan, you were always going to put butterflies on this, the position was... I see, sorry. You were always going to put butterflies on this, the position was just influenced.
It was genuine. That's why I deliberately put it there, yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
Shadiah says, breathe in and out is good for my nursing colleagues. I think breathe in and out is just good generally, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of, there's a bit of a necessity in there, isn't there? It's how you do it.
Yes.
Yeah. You just take that second to breathe in and out. It does just help, I think, especially if you're stressing about something or you're a bit nervous about something. Just slowing that breathing down does make a difference. Yeah, and if you get angry as well, so can you imagine me angry? But sometimes, when you feel like your blood boiling, don't you? And you're just like, I feel better.
Jan, says Terry, I've just come in just in time for demo of... Oh, sorry, Jan came in just in time for demo of the month with that project, Terry, you're shouting about. Wow, OK, well, that will be...
Well, I don't have any stars. I'm feeling a bit bereft.
Well, you stick them up like Leanne does. Leanne's just stuck her own up there.
I saw the big long line that she'd got the other day.
Craig took them all down, apparently, Terry was saying yesterday.
Oh.
And then she came back in last night on cartload and just stuck 3 more back up.
Did she? Yeah. Mine's looking a bit bleak at the minute.
She does what she wants.
But I'm not here as much as the other guys are.
You're not, but I think that's right, because the demo of the month vote will be this Sunday, won't it? So here we go. This is not demo of the month now. We're now doing demo of the show. But let's have a look in case you have missed the show so far. Jan, what have you made?
Right, so my job today was to try and show you different ways to use the stamps. We've got that beautiful collection, but what can you do with them? So we started out at the top of the show just with simple black stamping, and I made that little background with our water reactive inks just to show off the stamps. So that was number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, we got the embossing powder out, and we did that lovely chalkboard technique with the white embossing powder on our matte black cardstock. That's number 2. And then number 3, we used our quick dry inks, and we used all 3 of that colour family to make that ombre effect and make a piece of wall art for you know, to sort of use as home decor. So 1, 2 or 3, and then at 2 o'clock this afternoon I've got lots of other ways that we can use them as well, including some more embossing on vellum. We've got the gift box in there as well, you know, so I've tried to look at different ways that we can use the stamps. Okay.
All right, 1, 2 or 3, a little bit longer to vote. We'll give you 3 or 4 minutes to get your vote in there. Just very quickly as well, I just wanted to recap on some deals which are still live. That have rolled over from the cartload show yesterday. Cutting plate. Now, not the most exciting thing to look at on the shows today. However, if you have got any of our machines, we've got the Gemini and also Junior plates. These really are, they're like your consumables really, aren't they? You know, these are the things that sort of take the beating when you're doing your cutting and your embossing. So it's always good to have spares, always good to have backups. And I know a lot of you, you know, look after your plates and do all the necessaries to get the sort of longevity out of them. But it's good to have plenty of these stored away for when you need them. And the deal on this is brilliant. You're actually going to be getting 4 of the clear cutting plates for your Gemini. However, we're giving you the 4th one for free within this deal. So a really great excuse to be able to stock up on these. And I think actually they were really popular yesterday because I think lots of OG users, the original Gemini, are getting the actual Gemini plates, but then also stocking up on the Junior plates as well, which we've got, because I know a lot of you like to use your Junior plates sideways through your bigger machine. £23.98 is the price for your Gemini plates. So if you want to get those, the clear cutting plates, 4 for the price of 3, $40.78 if you're a Platinum member. And if you want to get the Junior ones, if you have a Junior, or indeed if you like using your Junior plates within your Gemini, then you can do that as well. Again, it's the same deal. You buy 4, but you're only paying for 3 of them. £19.18, $26.38. Like I said, Jan, not the most exciting thing to look at, but a great when we have deals like this, isn't it? Just to pick these up and get more than you need.
I very rarely buy my plates when they're not on offer. I usually wait for something like this. It's always, you've heard me say this before, it's like going and buying coffee in the supermarket. If it's on offer, I'll buy 2 jars of it.
Yeah.
You keep it in the cupboard. Same with these. These go on my shelf near where the Gemini is, and I've always got spare plates at the ready.
Yeah.
And it's better to buy them when they're on offer. Even if you're not actually ready for one yet, they are a consumable, like Ben said. So why not get them while they're on offer and save yourself some money in the meantime? Just getting one of those for free, I think, is a huge deal, isn't it?
It is, and as a wise man once said, better to have them and not need them than to need them and not have them. I just said it, Johnny. Yeah. He thought he just said, who said that? That was me.
Who said that? Yeah. Moseby.
It wasn't actually me that said it originally, but I don't know who said it. But it's a good saying. £19.18 or $26.38. As I say, not much to look at, but super useful to have. Dan Bancroft. Super useful to have those. Now, things which are lovely to look at and definitely that you need to get your hands on today. We've rolled this deal over from Cartload last night. The colour blend pencils in the primary colour.
So went a bit Aussie then, did you? In the colour blend.
Oh, did I?
You did. Did I? Yeah.
Did I?
The colour blind. Yeah, you did. You went a little bit Aussie then.
Because it's Australia Day.
Yeah, that's why.
I'm going a bit Australian with the colour blend pencils, mate. Normally $24.99. The $10 or I can't do it now. $10 or £10, you flaming galah. £10, $10 if you're platinum, $12.50 if you are picking these up and you're not in the club. Just very quickly again, talk to us, because I mean these are at the price $24.99, $34.95, worth every penny. But to pick these up for a tenner today, artist quality and perfect to use as well. If you've got a lot of our Spectrum Noir pens, these are great to use alongside them, aren't they?
I think just they picked the right name when they use Spectrum Noir for the heading for this sort of part of our product, because the whole spectrum, right from if you just like to colour in, they are perfect. They're so waxy and creamy, and that they leave a beautiful finish on your cardstock because of that. If you're taking it to the next level, they will blend. Okay, and again, just using the pencils on their own. If you can get hold of the blending solution, which is not always in stock, but we do sell it on the website, the blending solution takes that blending to another level. And then, like Ben says, taking it to that step again, if you love colouring with your alcohol markers, these are great for adding depth and shade over the top of the alcohol colouring. So that spectrum of use for them. And I always think, I always like something that does more than one job. So you buy something and this is what it does, and then you think, I need to consider whether I'm going to spend money on that. But a product that will do so many different things, right from maybe, your children or grandchildren learning to colour, up to you going into alcohol colouring and shading with them. And that primary set is all, there are lots of different sets in this range. And again, from working in the store, we used to get asked, what's the best set to buy? I would always recommend the primary one to start. You get a really nice sort of range of the whole colour family there. The whole spectrum again. They knew what they were doing, didn't they?
They absolutely did. Don't think they know what they're doing today with the price, though.
Yes, crazy.
I mean, redonk. Honestly, for £10, $10, get these today, because it is a try-me price for a full collection.
I know it's only January, Ben, but I'm just thinking, forward 11 months, we're back into Secret Santa again for Christmas. If you've got crafty friends and your limit's a tenner, your job does. Can you imagine receiving that in a Secret Santa? I'd be squealing. I really would. I'd be squealing with happiness,
No, it is honestly super deal. £10, $10. And we'll also have a quick look at this deal as well on the Aqua pencils. These, again, $9.99 platinum or $11.99. And these are different, again, artist quality. However, these are watercolour pencils, aren't they?
Yes, so they're on a water base. So everything that you can do, you hear us talking about water-based products play nicely together, then you can actually start and implement this. So, for example, you actually scribble those out onto your sheet like you've got there, Ben. And you can activate them with water again. But why not activate them with your sparkle clear overlay pen?
Yes, please.
And then you've got sparkly watercolour. So again, they will blend together. If you are a watercolour artist, they're a good substitute for paints, to be honest. You can get some really nice techniques with them. And they're going to last you for ages, because the quality of the pigment in them means that you don't need a lot of it to be able to do a decent job.
So I loved, I think, maybe it was you that suggested it, it probably was, but I loved the idea someone suggested a while back when we had these on of, if you wanted to maybe send the grandkids a little treat or whatever, you could like scribble a load of these down onto a piece of card, stamp out some images, pop it in a little envelope, and like you said, because that stays as is, they can then just take a paintbrush at home and then
even though that's dry, the one that you've got there, if you put a wet paintbrush on it now, you could reactivate the pigment that's on there to work with.
They are brilliant, and again, honestly, please try these at that price, $9.99 or $11.99. I can understand why you may not stretch to say, $24.99, $30. I'm not going to try those at that price, but you can try them today at this price. Try them, love them, and then realise what a deal that you've got for that price. It's exceptional. Tell everyone else in the comments as well, if you've got any of our pencils, Aqua Blend or indeed Colour Blend pencils, tell everyone why these deals are insane today and you need to grab them. We've got more great deals coming up later on as far as our Spectrum Noir ranges are concerned. Right across the range, we've got amazing deals, and on the website, actually, if you have a look, you'll find other deals which we won't touch on so much on the Craft Vault later on, but on individual pens, buy one, get one free deals for you. Carol says, there we go, Carol McDaniel. Hello, Carol. says the colour blend pencil's awesome, and at that price, they've got to be snapped up. And Sarah Brown says, Ben, I was just thinking the same as Jan. You do Aussie really well. We have a result for the demo of the show, mate. It was a landslide. You got it. 3.
I thought it might be. I thought that. Thank you, guys. It's like, it's doing a little bit of something different with it. You know, this image here could quite easily have been the image that we made on this size card. But I think, you know, it's nice. I like to have this kind of thing hung in my craft room as well.
Yeah.
Just those sentiments, you know, like breathing, just reminding me every so often, you know, like this one. You know, if you want something, if you're dreaming for something, work that little bit harder. It might just be in reach. So yeah, thanks guys. That's going to go into our demo of the show later.
It will, and a massive thank you to you, Jan, for a lovely show. 2 more shows with Jan, of course, coming up later on. Craft Vault at 6, 1 o'clock Eastern, and in just over an hour's time, we officially launch this amazing set of stamps. We are over 40% of the Showstopper gone, though, and that will continue to dwindle as we take a short break. So get it now, and then you can sit back, enjoy all of Jan's demos in the launch show at 2, and you're not going to have to worry about the mad scrum, which will inevitably happen because it's happened every single day this week so far with the Showstoppers. Thanks for watching. Go and grab a bit of breakfast or a bit of lunch, depending on what time it is, wherever you are. And Jan and I will see you back here in just over an hour's time for the official launch of these amazing stamps. Until then, though, bye for now.